Hey, this is Pat Ricard, aka Project Pat, and you're listening to the Baltimore Beatdown Podcast, the best Ravens podcast on the planet.
It's pretty incredible. In fact, it's la-marvelous.
Thank you guys.
All right, welcome on back to another edition of the Baltimore Beatdown Podcast. It is Friday, February 19th. Sad boy season here in the Northeast with snow
everywhere except for Miami and California. It's sad boy season right now.
That's a good point. My name is Jake Luke, by the way. I'm joined by a clean-shaven Spencer Nathaniel Schultz. What a sight that is. I've been getting a wild hair a little bit. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna throw my golf clubs in my trunk and just drive to North Carolina or something for the next weekend or maybe the weekend after. And they're getting pissed on down there too. I don't know what's going on, but we have some more time to go in this journey. There's going to be more snow coming next week. Starting to get to your boy a little bit.
This is what winter was like when we were little, I feel like, in the Maryland area.
Yeah, maybe not to this extent, though. The thing about it was, I was thinking about it a couple hours ago, and we would get one big snow that would last us for a week or two and be a couple feet. In 2009, we had that one that I think of a lot. But now, it's definitely not like this, but this is the weirdest one in a while because we're getting maybe a couple inches here, a couple inches there, but it's just consistent every week. It's always right ahead of the weekend, you gotta hit us right then and there where it hurts. And it's just been weird.
Got to get out, get on the slopes, get some skiing, some snowboarding, figure out the way to get outside, get yourself out of sad boy season. I had a pretty peaceful shoveling of the driveway today, so a little tired from that, a little tranquil. And the winter, have to figure out a way to get outside, avoid that seasonal depression, ladies and germs. Get that vitamin D, take a pill of it, get some in any way you can find it going outside, get that big boy coat, and hit the slopes. That's my rec.
You tell me that you hit the slopes even when it's not actually the weather isn't bad, but I didn't know what you meant by that. But that was mean. That was but I got a good workout in right before this. Shout out to my girl KG on the Nike Training Club app, just whipping me into shape. So
there's some good exercises on there. I like the Nike Training app.
They do. I started a program a couple weeks back that I'm slowly working my way through. I'd like to hopefully get it done prior to beach season so we can get this bod right and tight. But we're getting through. Like I said, the workouts are really helping.
Yep, and of course it is the dead zone pre-free agency. Pre-draft, football-wise, college football is slammed shut for a while, and here we are. They gave us a little bit of news today. The Colts getting after it, getting active, and giving us a little tidbit to talk about while we're arguing mock drafts too early.
Yeah, definitely. It I think was a welcome piece of news, and it kind of dropped quietly almost. I don't know if you got that vibe, but I was just scrolling Twitter and I just saw the Shefty tweet with the really bad Photoshop that was how does this look? And then he had the terms and everything on a prior one. So I was kind of reading through that. Looks like it's going to be Carson Wentz going to the Indianapolis Colts. Was it the third this year and then the conditional second next year, or do I have those reversed?
I believe it was a conditional second next year. And I'm not sure about the third. I thought the third might have been next year too, but I can't remember.
So I got it in front of me. So it's 2021 third round draft pick and a conditional 2022 second round draft pick that could turn into a first rounder. I believe that's if he plays 75% of the Colts offensive snaps for 2022.
Or if it's 70 and they make the playoffs. So there's a weird little area where it could be 72.5% of snaps and they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, it was an interesting deal. I think I liked it for pretty much all parties, including Wentz, including the Eagles, who move on from him a little bit. And I was going back and forth with our guy Cassidy on Twitter. He didn't seem to like it as much, but I feel like at this point, it felt like he was going to be gone. It felt like at the very least you got Hurts there, which is if nothing else, a very good bridge guy, hopefully for them. But you might even be able to build around him. And, Wentz has injury issues. It's not like he's not the guy that he was in 2017 pre that injury. He hasn't been that guy in a long time. He's got back issues. He's got that knee. Just a weird situation. So getting a 3rd-round pick for him this year, and then something that could potentially turn into a first. And I know he has a close relationship with Frank Reich. They like each other a lot. Might be a good matchup for all parties in that respect.
Yeah, I think Wentz was all right in 2019. He was, back-to-back years, the Eagles just decimated with injuries. He kind of carried them into that playoff doomsday game where they went and played against Seattle and just got obliterated. And Josh McCown ended up having to come in after Jadeveon Clowney hit him in the crown of his helmet. And yeah, I thought Wentz was all right last year. He just ridiculous amount of turnover-worthy plays this year. Wild man. Reminds you of like Jake Plummer back in the day, just flinging footballs around. And we saw a little bit of the athleticism come back, started to see him, use a little bit more movement skills, but the Eagles were just complete and utter shit show. Offensive line, a revolving door. Receivers, Rager's out and is a rookie anyway. Alshon Jeffrey seems like he has very little motivation to be playing. Deshaun Jackson gets hurt. They have Fulgham come make some like heroic month-long stretch with Wentz, and just too many moving parts. We've seen quarterbacks, change scenery and find some success. Drew Brees, although he was a little bit more successful in his last season in San Diego before joining the Saints, but moving to a more, competent maybe organization at the time, and with obviously Sean Payton, an outstanding offensive mind. So we'll see. The offensive line is going to give him a lot more security. They still have a 1st-round pick. They need to replace Anthony Catastanzo, however you say his name. I don't think I've actually said his name out loud. But you got to see if you can replace him. Obviously, he's in the discussion, or the Colts are in the discussions as a potential Orlando Brown spot. Would make sense if they really think Wentz is the guy. But I really like the way that Ballard set that deal up, allowing himself to, save face on the 1st-rounder, and just not. It was a pretty reasonable trade for the Colts. The Eagles with the dead cap is that thing's. I mean, that's getting ripped down. That's Howie Roseman. I don't know how long you can keep a job without making.
I think they're making up for the fact that Chip Kelly came in there, stripped him of all responsibilities, and sent him to fucking Siberia. And he was just like within the organization, but not doing anything. And shout out to Dan Hansis. He always made the comparison that he was like Andy Dufresne and Shawshank. He had to like crawl through a river of shit and like come out the other side after Chip Kelly got fired. So that happened, but it seems like the rope is starting to run thin here. And I do like Howie, but it's looking tough.
It is a mega tough scene, as someone on this podcast would say, but I like it for the Colts. Wentz can move the pocket more than they have with Rivers. It's interesting to see what they'll do, but they have good structure in that offense, have a couple picks still. I believe they still have a 2nd-rounder this year and a 1st-rounder as well. Get a couple more weapons in there. Round out that defense. They have Oompa Loompa Boku Bucks, don't they? They're top dog in cap dollars.
They've done a great job with that roster. They just like, you can't figure it out at quarterback after the luck thing. Unfortunately, they sort of did last year with Rivers, but the upside was a little limited there. So we'll see what happens with this, man.
Yeah, a quiet one is Paris Campbell. He's been hurt a lot. If he can play a full season, I think he could turn some heads. He hasn't been able to stay on the field, but interesting development for an AFC team, and we shall see.
Yeah, we know friend of the show, Dan Orlovsky, very fired up about this move. So it's really great stuff to see that rant that sent Mina Kimes into another fucking dimension.
That was spectacular. Him just immediately like talking with his hands, like ready to get back into it, square up for Carson Wentz.
Did you see Gordon's tweet on that?
So he was like me explaining to someone why Folklore is the greatest album of all time.
After one alcohol or something, I got a kick out of that.
That was a good one. Gordon has some good ones.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Got to get him back on here at some point. But that was kind of the only news piece. Nothing percolating in the Orlando Brown area. Really haven't heard too much on that. Anything else?
We have a moratorium. We have a moratorium on Orlando.
Yeah,
Brown.
actually, you're
ending more news.
My Jakey regrets the error. So I guess moratorium on that. Any other news pieces you wanted to touch on?
Von Miller, I guess. That'll come up in the mailbag. Von Miller, JJ Watt. Both potentially hitting free agency. Nothing's happened with Von Miller yet, though. So
yeah, I don't know. There's a couple guys that are kind of just hanging out there that might have an extension or like a franchise tag or something with the team that they're currently with. But like you said, we're in silly season. We really don't know when we're going to even be getting those developments. Like a lot of this free agency stuff starts to like kind of percolate at the combine too, which is not going to be happening, which is interesting. But it's weird, man.
And I believe the franchise tag must be used by March 9th. Teams have from the 23rd of February until March 9th. As well as the other news that came out was that the cap will be at least $180 million. They raised that floor. And then there's some reports saying that it's expected to be in the $185 to $188 million range.
Yeah, I think Joe Banner kind of, because somebody said like 180 was going to be it. And then Joe Banner was like, yeah, it's going to be even higher. It's going to be like 185, 195.
I just think it's going to create a really volatile dip situation with the cap potentially exploding next year. I just don't quite see why they wouldn't want to try and find a nice middle ground between this year and next year with those TV deals pending. It feels like they have those in place, and they also are anticipating a gigantic cap from it. So try and find a nice middle ground where it's a progressive scaled increase instead of this really drastic year that's going to create this feeding frenzy that's super volatile, but might be fun. So going to be a crazy free agency cycle. A lot of guys that could still get franchise tagged. I have a funny feeling both Allen Robinson and Kenny Golladay get franchise tagged. I'm not sure why either of those teams would want to let those guys go if the cap is at least, 185 million plus.
There's a big time case for it for the Lions if they're trying to build around Goff a little bit. And I've started work on my first, I like to do the kind of the long in-depth first round mocks. So the first one's going to be coming out within the next couple of days. And it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you just keep Kenny Golladay around? You've got the franchise tag. You can use that on him. See what you got in Goff. Not a lot of people have confidence. He really doesn't inspire a ton. But if you keep him around, you pick a wide receiver high, you do some stuff, maybe an O-lineman high, give him a shot. Maybe, I don't know, but Allen Robinson
trade as well. I mean, why would you just want to let him go for a third? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Allen Robinson, I feel like kind of QB dependent as far as what the Bears are going to be doing this offseason because they just missed out on Wentz, or apparently they weren't even in on Wentz, even though that was kind of rumored. Trubisky, they're kind of in limbo with him. I don't really know what's going to happen. What are they going to do in the draft? But they've got to decide on Robinson before the draft, so who knows?
Interesting situation all around. The quarterback carousel has been turning and turning the last couple of years. And I just don't know why you would let either of those guys walk and get a third round pick back. If you want to go get a young quarterback, why would you not want Allen Robinson there? If you want to go trade everything for Deshaun Watson, why would you not want Allen Robinson there? So I think those are interesting. Then Godwin too. Bruce Arians, people are saying, oh, he was just saying that, but it's like, I don't think they want to let Chris Godwin go. They have a lot of mobility and flexibility in their structure. So free agency is going to play out in a weird way. Lots of indecisiveness and surprise cuts coming and all kinds of stuff. So might be, the most active free agency cycle in a while.
It's going to be fun. We will talk about that plenty in the mailbag as well. You ready to get into it?
Well, let's do it.
First one is a fun one from Twitter from our boy Alexander Nevermind. I do like these non-football ones, especially this time of year. Top 3 episodes of Entourage and top 3 characters in Entourage, excluding Vinny. So mine, since I got the question, I got to think about this one a little bit. I knew right off the top of my head, my favorite episodes are One Day in the Valley is number 1, which is the Aquaman premiere where they go to the high school party at the end. I think that's the best episode of the series. And then I think number 2 is Busey and the Beach, where they go to the Malibu party and Gary Busey's just there, and Turtle knocked over his art and stuff. And there's this whole thing going on.
Vince is laying down big boy bets.
Oh yeah, you might be thinking of a different Malibu episode. There's plenty. They really milk.
No, he's with Gary Busey, and they bet on Barcelona.
No, that's you're thinking of Dennis Hopper. That's a later.
Oh, it was Dennis Hopper. Never mind. Gary Busey was one episode, and it was when he paints Johnny.
He's in it. Busey's actually in a couple, but that was his first one. Yeah, and he baptizes Turtle on the beach, and then I think Vince decides to be Aquaman in that episode. And it ends with the Doors. Great music drop. And then I think my third, I couldn't really decide on one, so I just said the pilot. I like the pilot. They do they introduced that song by The Who at the premiere that they use a million times over the course of the series. It's just it's good vibes. So those are my top 3. Top 3 characters. I'd probably go Ari, drama. Who else? Just go E. E balances the show out. A lot of people don't like him, but I think he's necessary. He's the main character, really.
Obviously, got to put Ari in there. I'm a huge Johnny Drama guy. Johnny Drama is probably my number 1. And then I like Sloane. Sloane is a nice, peaceful, calm character. And she was a huge crush of mine for a long time. Emmanuel Shariki. Everybody loves Sloane. Those are my crew. Lloyd, Lloyd. Let's go Lloyd. Lloyd is better.
Lloyd's a great pick.
Lloyd is my guy. Also, what my favorite episodes are the saga of when Lloyd leaves and Ari goes and hunts him down. That is top tier episode when they go to the film festival, and I believe it's Johnny and Turtle have the Devil's three-way, and Harvey Weinstein is screaming, throwing a fit.
That's my third favorite, actually. Now that I think about it, yeah, when they go to Sundance. That's another really good pick.
Where is Sundance?
It's in when or where?
Where?
It's in like Park City, I think, in Utah.
In Utah, I thought it was in Colorado for a second. I think it's like Telluride's in Colorado, and that's the other. But
yeah, it's not like
Sundance
the like mountain areas kind of overlap for me. But yeah.
And then other favorite episode, I like when Turtle discovers Saigon. That's a really fun
good one. Yeah, and then they like hang drama off the balcony, and that was actually based on something that really happened in like the rap scene. I forget exactly what, but yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, I like those episodes. I'm not even thinking of there's so many good ones, but those are the ones that come to mind for me first. Entourage, I think that might have been spurred because the other day someone posted a question on Twitter and said, what show would you watch if you had to watch one show for the entire year for $10 million? It's like, you'll pay me to watch Entourage? Yes, I will watch Entourage on loop for 12 months.
Yeah, you said that, and Cole said that, and I don't know if I like responded to it, but that would be probably my pick as well. There are better shows, obviously, but it's probably one of the most watchable shows of all time.
Yes, you can tune out and tune in, and then the plot's pretty good. It's not some riveting psychological thriller, but
that's I don't know. We need more dumb shit, in my opinion. More stuff to kind of like cut the darker stuff that's going on right now. Just watch.
Yeah, that's been the whole drama, psychological murder crime thing has been like the entire last. That's like the Netflix genre.
Yeah, it's prestige TV. Like basically, like who can prove who's like the smartest and who can make like the darkest shit. Like I don't know. It's good stuff, obviously, but I don't know. Some could be. I was actually talking to I think Jordan on Twitter. About Ted Lasso. I just watched, or I haven't finished.
Great things about Ted Lasso,
yeah. Ted Lasso is kind of like, it's still funny, but like it's like got a lighter, optimistic side to it, which I like. Need more.
2 shows that I found recently that are easy watches, both dark humor but like stupid. Catastrophe on Amazon Prime, hilarious show. Basically, an accountant or a marketing exec, like a marketing dude from Boston, takes a trip to England, knocks a girl up, and they end up deciding to keep the kid. Only knowing each other for like a week. Hilarious show. And the other one is also on Amazon. It's very similar. It'll come to me. I'm not going to brain fart for a while, but I'll come back to it. But Catastrophe, hilarious show if you're looking for something that is not in that dark crime syndicate genre.
I like to hear that. Our boy Zeeg Batman checks in. How we feeling about the upcoming Orioles season? Ready to see Boom Boom Mancini back in action? As far as like product on the field and like wins and losses, Pacoda gave them like a 0.0% chance to make the playoffs, which like
they'll be 25 games in. They'll be holding a playoff seed 25 games in at least. That's the Oriole guarantee.
That's how it always goes. And like maybe they'll fall off or whatever, but I don't know. Like I just want to see progress from certain players, like, and also like some of the players they brought in, like they sound like Matt Harvey and Felix Hernandez, which is fucking sick. Like if those guys are gonna be out there on the bump on like a random Thursday night, and I just want to like have a beer and watch a game, I will watch those guys try to take it deep and try to see if they can find something and maybe get traded to a contender. I think it's going to be a fun season from that regard. Going to be great to see Trey get back out there. Hopefully they don't trade him. I mean, I don't know if they're going to. I doubt it at this point. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Young talent kind of continue to show progress. I'm not really one of those people that like needs to see them like make all these like big moves to try and contend right now. Some people are starting to get frustrated with the whole rebuilding thing. But maybe just see some progress on the field would be nice. But we'll find out, obviously.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I love what the Orioles have right now in terms of the process, where they're at, and knowing that, they don't have any big names. They're trying to build back up through the farm system wisely. They're establishing their international system and getting that sorted out, which was by far the worst in baseball before Elias came in and has concentrated so much of his time and effort on that. But just having guys like Rio Ruiz, who's like the best worst player in baseball. There's like couple Velaka, like some of those random guys they have. And then of course there's like Santander and Severino came on so strong last year. Like their lineup is really fun. Obviously everyone wants Trey Mancini to come in and just mash again. He was incredible before the unfortunate incident of I don't know how, before he got cancer, he was incredible. Incredible. And I remember texting my buddy Clay, who listens to the show, and before he had his last big year, I guess that was 2019 when he had his big year. I remember being like, Trey Mancini, 290, 25 home runs, like 80 RBIs. He was like, no way. And then Trey comes on. That was awful. But DJ Stewart, like ultimate beer league player, just all these mashers that they have, the amount of home runs around here. Who knows what's going on with the rotation. I guess Means and
Harvey and Felix. It's going to be fun, and Means obviously, but like I don't know, like it's you got a chance to get some fun guys in there, which I like.
Harvey is one of the classic Brian Mattis like top prospects, and they turn him into a reliever, and then Tanner Scott throwing some heat with his sick sleeve. But yeah, I'm excited for the Orioles. They turned me off for a couple. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch any Orioles baseball for a solid year and a half or two after they let Manny go. I was the biggest Manny Machado fan in the world. Loved him to death. Love going to Camden and watching him absolutely crush. And I'm of the firm belief that you do not let go of players that will have a statue, especially when they're kind of homegrown, and watched him come up. And he was so exciting as like,
especially tough right now, seeing what the Padres just did with Fernando Tatis. It's like they could have done that obviously, but like, it was a different time too. Meaning they could have extended him when he was really young. It was a different time, like 2014 or whatever. But even after he had that knee injury that year, that might have been a good time to go ahead and throw the bag out there. But I think Peter Angelos was still in the dealings as opposed to his sons, who I feel like are a little freer with the coffers. But I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting.
They had to let Manny go. But yeah, I'm excited for Orioles baseball. Going to be awesome to watch this year.
Speaking of Orioles Haiku chimes in with who's faster, Lamar or Ted Cruz going to Cancun during a state of emergency?
Ted Cruz coming back from Cancun after
what he was doing is he was doing the honorable thing and being a good father and just seeing his family down to Cancun. He's coming back now. He got on the plane, make sure they got down to Mexico to Cancun, got them down to the beach, got a little marg in each of their hand, and then he came back ready to complain about the non-existent Green New Deal and why that's the reason that Texas is in a state of emergency right now.
Because there are no wind turbines in Alaska.
There are no wind turbines out there. I would love to try your queso. Coming back from Cancun here to take on the libs that are destroying Texas right now.
The Hollywood elitists are the problem, and their Green New Deal is thievery.
I don't care what.
Lamar's faster.
Lamar's faster. That guy is something else. We don't have to get too far into that. Josh Elliott, take a flyer on Cam Robinson from the Jags to play right tackle. Cam Robinson, that's a name.
I'm down with those kinds of investments. Cam Robinson, didn't he try to like smuggle 47 like an absolute brick of weed like back into the United States or something really weird?
We've all been there, when you live in Jacksonville.
Got dropped, and obviously got dropped. I don't know what the story was there. I need to go read more about that. But Cam Robinson's all right. All right, he would be an upgraded right tackle as opposed to like the DJ Flukers of the world.
And there's also a good history there with Eugene Monroe. So just bring him in.
The pipeline, get the pipeline going. Send the big fella on down there. We steal theirs. Boom, done.
Moratorium. Garnett, another fun one. Top 5 burger joints. He says Checkers 1, Cookout 2, Wendy's 3, Burger King 4, Hardee's 5.
I'm going to go. I haven't had Hardee's in about 2 years, but I love Hardee's. From 1 to 5, I'm going to go. See, he says burger joint. Like, are we just rating the burgers? Or are we rating the place? That needs to be established first.
He says burger joint, so I would assume the place.
Okay. Yep. Joint. Okay. So Cookout obviously is number 1. I've gone on that tangent already. Wendy's and Hardee's. That is really, really, really tough for me. I'm gonna go Hardee's 2, Wendy's 3. I love Wendy's, but Wendy's is 3. And then what do we have? Checkers, and what was the last one?
He says, so Checkers was his 1. You can come up with whatever list you want. He says Checkers 1, Cookout 2, Wendy's 3, Burger King 4, Hardee's 5.
Burger King. I actually am bigger on Burger King the most, but I'm gonna go Burger King 4, Checkers 5.
Yeah, I would go Five Guys 1, Cookout 2. Yeah, I guess Wendy's 3. Wendy's is good. Wendy's is pretty.
Oh, good. we can pull from anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well,
yeah. That was his ranking. So for me, I'll go Five Guys 1, Cookout 2, Wendy's 3. What else is there?
Red Robin is awesome. Sonic. Sonic's burger.
I'll go Sonic 4, McDonald's 5. Just classic McDonald's.
McDonald's is like arguably 1.
Yeah, McDonald's, like, everyone shits on it, rightfully so, for like the health factor. And I get that. I probably only eat it like once a month at most. But just rolling into a McDonald's and just getting like the 2 cheeseburgers and the fry, like, nothing beats that. Or just
I get a Big Mac, I get a McDouble, a McChicken, and a fry.
The other night, I was feeling a little, like I said, sad boy season on Valentine's Day night. Went and got myself a Royale with cheese, some fries, nice bottle of wine, and I just went to town, man. It was romantic.
There you go. Love some good old Mickey D's.
It's good.
It's good.
Okay, and then we got plenty of guys providing their list. Steady Eddie says Wendy's 1, Five Guys 2, Hardee's 3, Checkers 4, McDonald's 5. Never had Cookout, but it looks amazing. It is. Brian says Five Guys better than those 4. He chimes in with Five Guys 1, Checkers 2, Whataburger 3, Shake Shack 4, Wendy's 5. Never had Whataburger. I got to get down to Texas.
I've never had Whataburger either.
Yeah, another
Shake Shack's burgers are actually pretty good too.
Yeah, they are too. That's a slept on one. Another Brian chimes in with I miss Checkers. Checkers is a solid pick. Dominic Henson, do you build up the O-line or do you go after a number 1 wide receiver in quotes? So you were actually having some fun with what even the definition of a number 1 wide receiver is and why Ravens fans get a little too crazy about that. I feel like I've been on that block a little bit as well. I would build up the O-line, just kind of do that and then get some other good receiving options. I feel like you don't have to like go after Allen Robinson,
Yeah, they're trying to rebuild their system there with Mr. Martin and Mr. Williams, which is interesting. But like the thing for me about number 1 wide receivers is like the Bucs just won the Super Bowl. They have 2, 3, like they have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown in the slot, Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill both can be considered a 1 or whatever. So I think it's just like having 1 workhorse receiver isn't the successful formula. You need weapons, you need balance. You got to make it so the guys can get open. Whoever is 1-on-1 has to be able to get open and be in the right place, get their eyes turned back to the ball at the right time, like all that stuff. And those are just basic things that the Ravens are lacking right now. The offensive line, in my opinion, especially with a run-heavy team and the structure that the Ravens have and the success that they've had, is priority number 1. But you have to get somebody who can beat single coverage, who can go up and get the ball, and it just has really consistent hands. And I think both of those are needed, but if I can only pick one, if I had to roll with a group going into next year, let's say even Orlando Brown like stays, I want the offensive line to be completely and utterly dominant over bringing in a receiver and not doing anything for the offensive line other than like maybe adding some mid-round rookies or something. I think that just generally pass pro and the run game and, being able to be effective outside the hashes and get out and move and block downfield and all those different things. Your offensive line is involved in every single play, every single time.
And the offense is never going to be as good as 2019 probably, but like you had a banged up Hollywood Brown at receiver, Willie Snead, like Mark Andrews, Miles Boykin, a lot of familiar names there at wide receiver in 2019 when they were a pretty good passing offense.
Yeah. And it was predicated on the success of being able to go empty, the success of having efficient pass blocking, and more so than it was exactly that. But then ultimately, they couldn't quite get it done. They had 7 drops against the Titans.
Yeah, and you're totally right. That is not to, before Voss has an aneurysm listening to this, that is not to say that you shouldn't upgrade at wide receiver. I think they absolutely should, but I don't know if you need to break the bank there. I would rather go O-line first. We'll see what happens, but that's just what I would do.
And the thing is for me, if I want to pick one in the draft, I want to take a receiver in the draft because the production of, first round wide receivers, it was like, well, what about the Ravens? Not in Baltimore. Hollywood Brown has the 14th most touchdowns in the NFL over the last 2 years receiving. He has of the top 15, he has the 4th fewest amount of targets and had 2 screws in his foot last year. And he's fine in the end zone. So I think saying like, oh, Hollywood Brown like didn't work out or something, like I think that's crazy to say. And then I also just don't find offensive linemen, particularly ones that are picked outside the top half of the first round, to have a really consistent hit rate, especially as rookies. And if you want to kind of go a little bit all in this year, For me, it's getting the offensive line, adding a playmaking wide receiver in the draft, whether it's, Rashad Bateman or Kadarius Toney, or God forbid, someone's going to fall. Like, I just recall last year, it was another deep wide receiver draft. There's Jerry Jeudy, there's Henry Ruggs, there's all these guys, and CeeDee Lamb's there at 17. Like, guys are going to fall. Teams need tackles. Teams need quarterbacks. Teams need, Christian Barmore. There's not a lot of disruptive interior linemen. So I don't know. I just don't think everyone's like Jamar Chase is going 3, and then Jalen Waddle's going 5, and Smith is going 8, and Pitts is going 11. It's like, are we sure? Because there's a lot of good receivers in this draft. But overall, yeah, I want the offensive line shored up and then add somebody in the draft. That's if I'm pulling the strings, that's probably my methodology.
AJ2K says, when will the Ravens announce new uniforms? This is something that's like really on people's radar. Like, they're kind of tired of them for whatever reason. We were talking about uniforms the other day. Like, this is just something that like I don't even think about. Like, I don't know if like I love the current uniforms, but I think they're pretty good. And like, they've started experimenting with like the different pants colors and stuff. I don't know. I like what they have to offer, but maybe they could serve to improve. You're the uniform guy.
I'm not the uniform guy. I'm not a huge uniform guy, but I kind of just want the font changed a little bit. And I think there's some tweaks that can be made.
It's been the same literally since the mid 2000s. So I can agree with that.
It's not like a classic. Like, it's not this, like, you don't think classic uniforms Ravens. So it's like between being modern and being classic, and then the purple's funky. And I think the purple could be a little bit more well done overall. I think there could be a fresher, kind of like a darker purple, a little bit less than that like current one they have that's like kind of royally bluey almost a little bit. I think there's some definite tweaks that should be made.
Yeah. I could definitely see it. It's not, again, something that I really think about at all, but like, for example, I really like the purple pants and the white jerseys. I love that combo. I think some people are.
That's a great one. I like that. I like the white jerseys.
I do think you're getting into a good sort of explanation of it, where they're sort of in no man's land, where it's not like the classic like Pittsburgh Steelers one logo on the helmet.
The Giants have such a classic, like almost Penn State like simplicity to them,
which as we got into, like, I like that. So if they were to go in that direction, that would be cool. Or if they want to go in another direction, that's fine. But maybe just like commit to one, because they are kind of in no man's land a little bit. A little bit. Bring back the mustard pants. Yeah, exactly. Ravens burner. Our guy is going to love that comment. Cassidy says, do we kick the tires on Isaiah Wilson? Also, when we get the 13th pick from the Chargers for Baby Zeus, do we flip 13 and 27 to the Eagles for 6 to get Pitts? Isaiah Wilson, like, that was a surprise pick when it happened, I feel like, and he was apparently kind of a shithead off the field. So like, I don't know if that's a Harbaugh type guy. And then I think, we do have a moratorium on that trade discussion, obviously, but I think that scenario that he mentioned is something that we have discussed happening, whether on here or in the Slack chat. I'm not totally sure.
It's a lot of if then with the Orlando Brown situation in that one. Like, takes 2 to tango. The Eagles now probably might need a quarterback. Who knows what they're doing, how they feel about Jalen Hurts, whatever. But in terms of Isaiah Wilson, yeah, he was at Georgia. He was a dominant run blocker, like Thanos. I called him Thanos last year. And he snuck in. I think Daniel Jeremiah had him, sneaking into the first round a lot in the end of the draft cycle. And lo and behold, he did. And holy shit, how much better would the Titans have been if he wasn't, doing whatever the hell he's doing, being a party boy and whatever. But got to be able to take some chances on some players. Like, maybe it clicks. What is the big deal if he comes in?
It doesn't sound like he was like a bad guy, just like kind of dumb or doing.
Like he was like a party, like he was like getting DUIs and like probably drinking. Stuff.
Yeah, that's
sure, I think a DUI was what got him, and he like didn't really tell the Titans about it, whatever. So probably just not very mature right now.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I don't want to be too judgmental.
Yeah, but I don't know all the details. I don't think there's been like a full expose on it yet. I'm sure one will come eventually with how ridiculous. Like, oh, here's everything Isaiah Wilson did after they cut him. They'll shit on him or whatever in classic fashion, but. Yeah, bring him in. I would love to. I'd love to bring him in. He's freaking bigger than Orlando Brown is, and has some of the most powerful hands, vice grip mitts I've seen. So I would love that if he, is serious. If it doesn't work out, what do you lose? $800,000 out of your $200 million budget, $185 million budget, excuse me. So yeah, sure.
He follows up with regarding the trade. I also feel like I should add the JJ Jimmy Johnson chart considers 13 plus 27 equals 1830, 6 equals 1600. Like maybe teams are still using the chart, but like I don't know. Like to me, like the chart is something that Jimmy came up with after he had about 10 daiquiris out on his boat off Key Largo. And it's just like, why are we still like, it just feels a little antiquated. Why can't we just like have our own, or everyone just operates on their own terms?
Teams have different philosophies. Like a lot of people think the Colts are now going to trade down because they acquired Wentz, and then they're going to try and recoup the picks that they lost next year by trading down because they don't have, some crazy pressing need unless they want to take a tackle there. Like
every situation is different. It just like, I feel like it lacks context a little bit.
Absolutely takes two to tango. Always takes two to tango. The phone has to be going both ways.
And that's not to come a Cassidy to our, but I'm just saying, like, whenever I see like the Jimmy Johnson trade chart being referenced, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, can we just like evaluate it independently of that? And he did, to be fair. But
I think that a lot of, I think there's been like other trade charts people have made and trying to figure out how it happens and stuff. But it's a little bit different every time. Like, you don't like who's on the board, so you want to trade down. How much are you willing to trade down? Probably varies a good bit. Like, or you don't really care. You're like, I don't like where we're at. Let's get back. Who can we call? Boom. Do they want to trade up? Is there someone that they like?
You know what I want is the Chris Collinsworth trade chart. That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, Al. This guy can get you some really good value here at the top of the first round. Subscribe to PFF to get more access to my trade chart.
Richard Sherman every week.
Richard Sherman will walk into your living room, shout in your face, and tell you why your trade is fucking trash.
$9.99.
Shout out Herman Cain. Patrick Manley. How do we feel about acquiring a free safety?
They need a third safety. Deshaun Elliott, great year. People, and there's some talk about like what made Deshaun Elliott special this year. Well, first of all, broke up a shitload of passes. He was an enforcer in the run game. Do you remember, like Tony Jefferson? I can think of specific instances where it was like, Tony Jefferson is really struggling in coverage. Steelers, like I can think of moments in my mind, games and players that were having their way with Tony Jefferson at times, and he was disappointing. And everyone's like, well, Deshaun Elliott didn't have picks, like whatever, blah, blah, blah. Was he an issue in coverage? Was there ever a moment where it was like, oh my God, Deshaun Elliott keeps getting beat? No.
You always know when that happens because like the beat reporters tweet about it at the same time when the play happens. Then everyone starts to like tweet about the player and it snowballs and it's like, oh, that guy had a bad game. Didn't really happen with him.
Yeah, pretty consistent. I think that him and Chuck Clark were very conservative. Wink was putting them on Mars. I think Elliott has a little bit more range maybe than Clark does. Clark better in the box. Both of them good in the box. But sticking them on Mars, don't let anything over your head. There was a couple maybe miscommunications with Marcus Peters, and he's always a wild man in deep third coverage and deep half coverage and stuff whenever he's playing like inverted 2 or something. And some stuff like that happened against the Chiefs a little bit, but it wasn't like, oh, Deshaun Elliott isn't playing the ball well. Deshaun Elliott is getting picked on. That didn't happen the entire season. So, but getting back to the question, yes, they need another safety. They got rid of Geno Stone, who was maybe like a perfect, like, okay, you've got some depth there guy. Now it's like, all right, well, let's say Chuck Clark goes down. You're screwed. So, yeah, get a safety.
What I was going to say is like, I'm good on a big investment. Like, don't try to break the bank, which I don't even know if there are that many options on the market this year to do so. But like,
there's a few: Marcus May, Marcus Williams, and I think the Broncos aren't going to let Justin Simmons go, but he's currently not signed.
Okay, yeah, then maybe like maybe
Vikings.
Maybe you grab a mid-tier guy to throw in the rotation with them, but they're both starters, and like the idea of like free versus strong safety, I think is a little overrated at this point.
Too deep, making a big comeback too.
Yeah. Jonathan Evans, Chipotle, Mose, or Qdoba. I can probably count on one hand the number I've had Mose and Qdoba combined in my life. I'm a Chipotle boy. I eat it like every other week. So that's gonna be my answer there.
Chipotle is a part of my life. In college, my buddy was like the campus ambassador at Towson for Chipotle, and they would give him 500 buy one get one free coupons, and he was supposed to like spread them out on campus or whatever. And he did do that, but I would get 5. My roommate would get 5. My other roommate would get 5. Like we would eat Chipotle for $4, get filled up. The best deal, healthy, everything. Mose, I like. Qdoba, I like a little bit. Qdoba can kind of be disgusting. a little bit, but it's good. And they have Cholula, and Cholula.
I had a tough Moe's experience once. The queso was just a little too rubbery, but I don't want to judge them on.
I'm not a big queso burrito guy. I don't really like the queso.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a wild card order by me. So I'll
if
probably
I'm at a Mexican restaurant and I do order a burrito and they like pour queso on it. That is what I'm about.
Yeah, it depends. They're chains, so it's.
I want to go through my Chipotle order briefly because I have some good insight here. Lifelong Chipotle. Number one, you can get as many tortillas as you want. I get two. I get 2 burrito tortillas. Get a bowl, then I make myself 2 small burritos. They're not overpacked. Very delicious. Number two, if you have not been getting salad dressing, I hate you. You're an idiot, and get salad dressing. Put it on your burrito. Salad dressing is tangy. It's like this vinegary, tangy, sweet, orangish concoction that they have. That's their dressing for their salads, and you can drizzle it on your burrito. I have multiple friends. My buddy Micah, shout out Micah Haas. He has a fight coming up. My boy's out there in like Aurora, Colorado, in a amateur MMA league.
Great safety for the Bills too.
Great. And he was like, well, we used to work together, and he'd be like, I'm not coming with you to Chipotle. Like, Chipotle is disgusting. Like, no. And I was like, dude, have you put the dressing on it? No. Gets the dressing. The man loves Chipotle now. He eats it all the time. The dressing gives it this perfect sweetness to it that it doesn't have. Highly, highly, highly recommend.
Yeah, I think I go brown rice, steak, pinto, mild and medium, a little bit of sour cream. Let it. Yeah, I'll do hot.
Sour cream is spectacular. Best sour cream in the world.
Sour cream's good. I do a little bit of that, but like you said, try to keep it healthy. So a little bit of that, lettuce, corn for sure. Yeah, it's just it's great, man. It's really
Chipotle is the best. Chipotle is the best.
Yeah, I'll try to mix Moe's and Qdoba in a little bit more though. I've been getting deep into the Kava game too, which is not quite the same category, but Mediterranean, very good. Jonathan follows up with, what is your cookout order? Headed back home to the Berry this weekend and need a new go-to burger. And then Foreign Lover actually followed up with spicy chicken sandwich, ranch wrap, Cajun fries. I second that, but I will do the big double burger occasionally. If I haven't been since college, so like I would do that when I was sloshed because it was just so filling. But yeah, definitely you got to get the Cajun chicken wrap in there, no doubt.
Cajun chicken wrap, you definitely. So cookout, if you haven't been, if you get a platter, you get like any variation of sides. Burgers, I get the big double burger. Get a quesadilla on the side. It's like $1.50, just a little bite of a quesadilla. Get a bacon wrap on the side, another little bite. Some cheese fries. Yeah, I really do it up. Big double burger is my go-to. You can get it like cowboy style or whatever styles. Different stuff speaks to different folks. But I could go for a banana fudge milkshake from Cookout right now. Good God.
That's what I'm talking about. Like when I go to the beach this summer, I'm taking the long way, 50 down through Salisbury, and I'm stopping there because it's been way too long.
And I just love, it's char grilled burgers, and it has that charred taste.
It's a charred boy. They're not messing around. The milkshakes are good. You know,
the fucking charred boy.
Shout out to the weekend. Great performance. Wookie Nookies. When is Chris Davis leaving Baltimore? Never. He's just going to keep showing up and keep collecting his checks and keep doing the bare minimum. And God bless him. They gave him the
back on the juice, Chris.
He should get back on the Addy and like do what he has to do. And
back on the juice.
Just keep making RDT like incessantly mad every single year when he shows up at like 11:59 and like I forget exactly what he said, but like the first pitch is at 12. He's just like rolls in and some quote about how he's like still trying to like work on stuff and it's just a process. It's the best.
They paid him instead of Nelson Cruz. Like, oh my God. Him and Ubaldo, man.
Tough scene.
53 home runs. Unbelievable.
He was my favorite Oriole for a stretch.
The deputy. Crush Davis, the sheriff.
It's tough. He follows up with also, what is it with all the first round safety mocks? I guess we already kind of got into that.
I love Richie Grant. I love Elijah Molden's not really a safety, but I think he could do some safety things for sure. After a couple years, he's kind of like that alien slot defender right now that everybody loves in the NFL. And then the big boy Trevon out of TCU is super popular. He's legit. He's pretty legit. Range wise, you can pick on him kind of. He really plays chess with quarterbacks and he can get burned sometimes, but hits, range, ball skills, pass breakups, interceptions, single high can lock it down. And I mean, the Ravens love DBs. Like Eric DeCosta's philosophical structure clearly revolves around talent in the secondary.
Ozzy's old saying is you can never have enough cornerbacks. And I guess
and I've been saying it for a long time. I could see J.C. Horn being the pick somehow. And everyone going, why the are they drafting a cornerback? They have Marlon, they have Jimmy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's like, remember when they didn't need a cornerback and they picked Marlon? Like, this shit happens, you know?
Exactly. And then, what happened this year? All of a sudden, like, Marcus Peters is banged up. Marlon's playing in the slot and is the only one healthy. Misses for COVID as well. And then you have to sign Devontae Harris and Pierre Desir and all these guys. So it's like, no matter how deep they are, someone is going to be out for the year. They're like cursed. And I think that happens in most DB rooms, to be honest. DBs run a lot. They're in a lot of high contact or high speed collisions and funky stuff happens. So can never have enough. But safety wise, that's why I like Richie Grant. Richie Grant can really cover. He can play in the slot. He can, stick him out wide and he'll hold ground. He'll get beat, but he can look like a average corner on the boundary if you need him to. Great in run support. I think a safety would make a ton of sense. Deshaun Elliott going to a contract year. Deshaun Elliott also not an incredibly durable player. So you're taking a little bit of a gamble if you don't really fill that position. I'd be pretty surprised to see them walk away without some sort of like versatile DB that can play some safety.
Space Ghost says Ravens Mount Rushmore of players. For me, it is Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Jonathan Ogden, and Joe Flacco.
Give me Ray. Give me Ed. Give me.
There's only 5 people that you can pick, I think. And
give me Sizzle.
It's between Suggs and Flacco, like for the last one.
And what did I say? Ray, Ed, Suggs.
It's Ray, Ed, it's Ogden. Those are the first 3, like in my opinion.
I get it. That's fine. I'm just like I'm not a huge Ogden guy. I love Anquan Bolden. He wasn't there long enough, I guess. I'll also do some homage to Joe. Joe is the all-time passer. Joe won a Super Bowl and played in some crazy big games. So
I think that's fair. I think just the fact that Ogden first ballot Hall of Famer, it's like I kind of have to do that. So go with him, go with Ed. And for me, it's very close with Suggs and Flacco, but Flacco had the big moment. He got the Super Bowl. And then Suggs, he goes to Kansas City and he's like saying, oh, this is the most fun Super Bowl I've ever won of the 2. And it's like, come on, man. Like and that's just Sizzle being Sizzle. But like, what are we doing?
It probably was fun though, because he like didn't give a shit.
No. And like, he doesn't, and that's his brand. And like, that's fine. But like,
no, like that he like came in as a mercenary and like bounced around, teams and then goes and plays in the Super Bowl. Like they signed him for a Super Bowl run. And he doesn't have a bunch of pressure. He's not the guy or anything.
I get it.
Forgot that even happened, to be honest.
Dude, wait, what?
I like completely forgot he was even on the Chiefs. Like,
yeah, no, so do I. And like I think Chiefs fans like to troll will be like, you remember when like Chiefs legend Terrell Suggs won the Super, which is like fun. That's funny. That's fair game. I would do the same thing in the reverse scenario. But
Malik Hooker, Andrew Sakaria commented, Malik Hooker is really interesting.
If you get a hooker at a good value, then you're living right.
Living the dream.
Will Pino says, not sure if it is resolved yet, but what is the salary situation with Earl Thomas? I think they're still like paying him, right?
No, I think they paid out. And then I think it's just 10 million dead cap right now. I don't think that he's filed a grievance ever because the Ravens pretty much are going to win that. So it might just be pointless and a waste of time. But Ravens have 10 million dead cap. They have the 3rd most dead cap in the NFL because of that. I think they have like 11.3 million dead cap total. So there's $10 million that the Ravens can't spend right now.
Yeah, it's tough. And I think there is an ongoing case actually. So we'll see. Ravens Burner says he's the mustard pants guy. My mustard pants get a little tight when I think about the Ravens trading an unnamed tackle to move up to get a player they like falling in the draft. Who would you like to see slip to us? For me, it's Pitts or it's one of those 3 wide receivers. I think they're all pretty interchangeable. If Sewell started to fall, like I'd consider that if you are trading said tackle, but he's probably not going to be falling and, kind of is what it is. But other than that, it's those handful of guys right there for me.
I guess, I don't know. I'm like struggling to like rank the top receivers or whatever, but in terms of a fall, guys that are getting projected really high right now, I'll go with Jamar Chase. I'm struggling to like love him, but he just fits like the physical profile the demeanor, the tough catches, the ball skills, the chuck it up kind of stuff, and fills all that. So if Chase were to somehow fall, but don't think that's going to happen. I think Devontae Smith would be the one of the three to fall. And then Pitts is just Pitts. I don't see making it out of past like 11 or 12.
Yeah, we say that sometimes with tight ends, and they do, but I feel like he's simply built different, as our friend Saul Goodman would say.
So young, so productive, so physically mature.
Yeah.
So good.
Yep. Connor Kellestros says, so he asked about Isaiah Wilson, but another option as well. He says 2 questions. Are Rob Havenstein or Isaiah Wilson intriguing options for right tackle? Havenstein was good for a while, and he's also from here. So like I could see him.
Havenstein broke the best player on my football team my junior year's name. Well, I won't say his name, but he was like our badass, like offensive lineman, defensive end. He was, it sucked having to go up against him in drills. He was so good. Rob Havenstein cracked his face. Actually, excuse me, it was Zach Swinak. Never mind, I had the story wrong. But Havenstein basically just obliterated him and obliterated our entire team. It was unbelievable. He was fully grown, 6'8", 330 pounds in high school, and just ran a train on us. It was not fun. Not fun.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's from Mount Airy, I think. I had a buddy who knew him growing up. I had a buddy who was in a bachelor party with him. So it seems like a good dude. He's from here. I don't know if he like grew up a Ravens fan or like if that would have any effect on him wanting to come here. But maybe if like, you get home for a nice veteran deal and give it a shot at right.
He's missed some time over the last couple of years, if I'm not.
Yeah, he's had some injury stuff, but he was good for the Rams for a while.
And he's like what, a year older than me? Yeah, he's a year older than me.
He's surprisingly young. He's been in the league for a while. Like I think he was in St. Louis with the Rams.
Yes, he was for 1 year. Played all 16 games this year. Played 9 the year before, 16, 15, 15, 13. So pretty durable, actually.
Yeah, he's
that would be a great option to come in. Yeah, for sure.
That was a good call. And he also asks favorite dogfish. Man, there's a lot of good ones. I would just go classic 60-minute. That's probably the one that I go to the most, but there's plenty of good options, man. They really keep the rotation going.
Double dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Jordan is the last one from Twitter here. Because I like insane questions, how many players / draft picks would realistically be given up to get Kyle Pitts and Devontae Smith? So we're talking about
in
a lot.
One draft.
Yes.
Say you can get him at like 7 and 8, 8 and 9. I guess it would be if the Ravens had a pick for Orlando Brown, it'd be that one.
And 27
and 27
and
their
one
second round pick, and next year's second round pick, and next year's third round pick, and at least one more pick from this draft. So I guess it would be probably the 4th rounder.
Yeah, just like a throw in.
Yeah, so it'd probably be 3 firsts, at least 1 second, and at least 1 mid round pick. I guess it's probably 2 seconds, 3 firsts, because you figure 2 firsts can move from like 27 and a future first up to 10-ish, and then there'd be another one. Then you need to do 2 second-round picks to create a first-round pick value, somewhere in that ballpark. So something like 3 firsts in 2 seconds, I think.
Absolutely. That is all we had from Twitter. If you want to throw it over to IG.
I do indeed.
I will take a quick tinky break here if you want to get them started off.
Let's do it. All right, folks. Thank you so much for the mailbag. Another hefty one coming in. And we have Whitehead Will. Realistic compensation for OBJ. We have a moratorium on that. We've talked about that. Fiore Lucas. Without considering the Ogden Lewis draft, what is the best draft in Ravens history? Got to go with 2018. But even Bozeman, like so many guys out of that draft. Hayden Hurst, Bozeman, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, like 5, 6 guys that are contributors. Got to go with 2018. Garrett Bowman. What are 3 past / retired Ravens that would kick ass on the Ravens squad next year? I'm going to go with Anquan Bolden. I'm going to go with Ed Reed. And let's go with I'm just going to put Ray on there just because prime Ray. That's what we'll go with. Turk Banks. Why were our passing schemes so basic? I don't think that they were like basic. We've touched on that on this podcast before. They run, a lot of power heavy personnel formation stuff and 12, 21, 22, all that kind of stuff. And there's options to it. It's kind of like a read and react based on if there's single high or if there's too high, rolling into RPOs and doing different things in the way you attack. I don't think that it was like terribly basic. There were just some things that didn't quite pan out this year, like the way that they used empty and some of the reactionary stuff they had in empty wasn't ideal. I also think part of it, we do see some repeat plays a good bit, but I think part of it is because it seemed like young receivers, young offense didn't have a full off season. So there was only so much it felt like Greg Roman was comfortable calling. That's speculation on my part, but got to know that guys are going to run the right routes. And if they're not, then you got to dumb things down and, run some things that they're familiar with. So I think we saw a little bit less variation than we should have. They seemed to start out with a lot more screens and higher screen usage and things early on in the season and got away from that. I think that, again, that is a regrettable part of it and something that I was banging on the table for last year, incorporating more screens and jet sweeps and all that stuff. But I think it's a combination of those things. Moving on, Eric Jacobs Real Estate, the best realtor in the area. Yes or no, Dan Orlovsky is the biggest joke in sports talk media?
We already done this a little bit, but I think the answer has to be an unequivocal yes.
I think not in sports talk media, but in like the former NFL players that do analysis. Yeah.
The problem is like you want to like him so bad. Like he's very photogenic or like cameragenic. He's very good in front of a camera. He's a good speaker. He does the
seems like a nice guy. He's always joking with everybody. He seems to be really respectful of his female coworkers and things and interact with them in a normal way.
Yeah, he of himself. He seems like a regular guy otherwise, but just his takes sometimes, man. So like from that perspective, he is not the biggest joke. He's like a good guy who has like really bad takes. Like a joke to me is Skip, but I think we already know what the deal is there with like Skip.
Right, and Skip is a talking head. WB Caps, pesto or marinade on pasta or something else. I'm guessing you already ate. I hope you went with the marinade. Matthias the Great. Should the Ravens extend Gus Edwards? If so, what is an appropriate deal for him? Do you think the Ravens should extend Gus?
It depends on the money, but I don't think he's going to go for like all that much. So like I would say probably yes. And they can, bring him back on the, another restricted free agent tender year. Doesn't seem like it's going to cost too much. So I would probably say, yeah, from this standpoint, like the guy's really fucking good. Like it's not just a meme. He's not just like a former undrafted player. Like he's a very, very good running back. And I know like the whole like running backs don't matter. Like you can find guys like that anywhere. I'm like watching Gus Edwards this year. I struggle to find a guy in the league who's like, can do some of the stuff that he does. Like I get it. Like offensive line, you got to build that up and that makes them good. And like, it all makes sense to me, but like there are some guys that like do some things that I'm just like, I don't know, Jim.
Gus Edwards has evolved very much so from being a straight dive read option back into a decently well-rounded, able to make plays in the passing game. His vision is outstanding. He's so efficient, gets downhill. He runs through contact. One of the better running backs in the NFL. If you can bring him back for $3 million on a second round tender, hell to the yeah, do that.
He stands up real tall. You get in those 3rd and 1s, and you just see him standing there. It's like, fuck, this guy's just going to take this full head of steam and just convert it, whether we like it or not. Like that has to be so demoralizing if you're another
Garrett Blunt, like almost.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. He's a little taller maybe, but like I like that comparison a lot.
Yeah, he is just the best power back in football in those short 3rd and 2 goal line, like whatever. He is awesome in those. And I like having him. I like Justice Hill. I like having the 3 backs that they have. Mark Ingram was the odd man out. Unfortunately, maybe I think he's wants to play again. So maybe he goes somewhere and goes to like a developing team or whatever. But I like having those 3 guys. I like the idea of those 3 in case, one of the 3 of them goes down or 2 of the 3 of them go down. Then you still have one left that can kind of maybe handle the load quite a bit. I think Justice Hill could make some freaking plays if they want to do a game with like a street free agent or a practice squad guy and Justice Hill. I think he can really have a successful game in that kind of rotational into some primary usage role. But I like bringing Gus back a lot. And, running backs don't matter, blah, 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 blah. But someone has to punch the fucking ball into the end zone. Someone has to carry the rock. And everybody wants to say, oh, you can get a UDFA. Just look at Gus. How many UDFA running backs? Like, people don't conceptualize how many UDFA running backs are signed after a draft and how many of them become successful. Like, it is hundreds of them. And how many become successful? 3, 4. Look at the draft. Like, a lot of them become successful out of the draft. I don't like signing big backs to big extensions. You know, Derrick Henry is an exception. Marshawn Lynch is an exception. Usually those don't turn out that well. But I like, you know, cheap backs and cycling through, drafting a guy in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round every couple of years. And at the end of the day, someone has to pound the rock. Someone has to take the football and make plays. And like it or not, like, it's valuable.
So why not spend a couple extra million on like a guy who is a fucking beast? Like, I don't know.
Especially with so much other turnaround elsewhere in the offense, potentially with Orlando Brown and other influx. Like, yes.
And in an offense that you have a lot of mesh points that you need to be able to like trust a guy on. And like, he's a guy that has proven himself to be able to do that. It's a unique situation, you know?
It is. And it's a unique offense. He is tailor-made for it. Gus is awesome in the Ravens offense. He's one of the most efficient, one of the really better running backs over the last 3 years. And like I said, quiet, you know, keeps his head down, busts out some nasty ass rap songs that are kind of awesome, and does his job, gets better every year, gets better every game. Like, love Gus Edwards. Absolutely think they should bring him back. Glassy Fresh. F1, marry one, kill one. Robinson, Holiday. Oh, I guess he means Galladay. And T.Y. Celebrate. Robinson, Holiday, and T.Y. I'm going to marry Robinson. I'm going to marry Robinson. I will make sweet, sweet love to Kenny Galladay, if that's who you meant. And sorry, T.Y.
Yeah, that's my list too. I think it's pretty clear.
Bingo, bango, boom. Joe Boken, Ninja JC. House party, and you can invite 3 players, past or present. Who are you inviting?
Any NFL
Kyle
player?
Bowler, number 1. Past or present, any players you can invite. Kyle Bowler is coming to my party. Dion, I would like at my party. Actually, I want like younger Dion.
So is it Ravens players?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, if I can have like 25-year-old Dion, hell yeah. Kyle Bowler. And I feel like Sizzle gets down.
Sizzle will be fun. It depends on what kind of party we're having, because you can get CJ Mosley in there and things get real weird real fast.
He's still kind of like, I don't know. He's not real crazy.
It depends on how many he's had. Bowler is a good pick. Feinstein loved Bowler, by the way. I don't know if you listened to that, but he said he was like a really good guy. So that might be a solid pick quarterback wise.
I've heard some stories about Bowler that I'm not going to say on here, but I've heard some stories. The man liked to party during his time in Baltimore.
There are pictures that confirm this, and my brother actually caddied for him, I think, a few times. So it gets around. So yeah, I might go Kyle Bowler. Seems like a nice guy. He actually talked to John Eisenberg, maybe like last year.
Yeah, he did the what's that podcast called? Where's that guy? Or what happened to that guy?
Yeah, so I still have to listen to that actually. But yeah, seems like a nice guy. He's not like
comes from a firefighter family. I remember that.
Yeah, just cool guy from California. Not really like he's tougher than fans gave him credit for, as I talked to Feinstein about. So Bowler's probably a really good pick. Number 2,
Jamal can get down. I've actually been in some areas with Jamal. Jamal's a fun time.
Okay, Jamal. And then I'm going to kind of even things out. We're going to go Ed Reed, get a little whiskey and cigars to end the night out on the patio. Just
Ed's a nightcap kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you got to have that guy in your crew.
And he just goes, man, I'll tell you what.
Sucker, man. He just flicks on the jazz. You're sitting on the patio, smoking a Rocky Patel, drinking a little whiskey, having yourself a nice nightcap.
Love it. Whitehead Will. Oh, wait. I lost my place. John shares 010. Malik Hooker, a potential Ravens target. Hell yeah on a 1-year deal. Hell yeah on like a 1-year, $3 million deal. That'd be a sweet addition to the Ravens secondary. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. It happens. And the Ravens have like a good process for bringing in veteran players, even though he's just now a veteran, but that have had some injury problems, keeping them in a rotational role, nursing them back to health, it feels like. I think they do a good job rehabilitating players that have had some injury problems. Joe Boken and JC again. Do you see any Hall of Fame players on the roster? Yeah, I think that Lamar Jackson, Marlon Humphrey, and Ronnie Stanley, as well as Justin Tucker, are all Hall of Fame caliber players. Lamar, very young, probably going to have to win a Super Bowl. Marlon might not have to win a Super Bowl, just has to sustain a really good, 10-year period. And if Ronnie comes back full strength and bangs out another 6-7 years, he should be getting a jacket.
That's a great list. I think J.K. Dobbins has the ability, if he's able to play long enough. It's like kind of tough with the running backs because who knows what's going to happen with that position. And then if Mark Andrews starts really compiling and plays for a long time, maybe. But that's probably the extent of it.
Mark Andrews, I feel like, will be a Hall of very good player.
He definitely is that, but I'm just saying if he compiles and Jason wins it and he can maybe sneak his way in.
Right, for sure. Especially because he's such a good red zone threat and gets those TDs. Githens Mazer gave us a little bit of a soliloquy here. As much as we love Harbaugh, when do we question the doghouse or his process? I get that he's a great head coach with good ownership. He put as have to take that into consideration of why he's a great coach. But is his approach the right way to win? Lastly, what offer, in theory, would you take for Lamar? More or less than Deshaun? So I think the whole thing about Harbaugh's doghouse and whatever, that's over. I think that's done with. J.K. Dobbins, there's that whole great moment where Dobbins fumbles and has grass on his helmet and comes off to the sideline and the Wired picks up on Harbaugh or whatever. And he's, picking the grass out of J.K. Dobbins' helmet and telling him, you got to take care of the football. It's all right. I trust you. Just take better care of the football, whatever. Sends Dobbins right back out, scores a touchdown, comes off, gives him a big hug. And he's a dad now. He's not a dick anymore. He's a dad.
Yeah, he's the cool dad. He's, just having fun out there, but also you can tell still extremely passionate, still has the right approach, I think. So yeah, I think as much as the doghouse stuff really did piss me off a couple of years ago, even I wouldn't have backed off of him at that time.
Has there been anyone that's in the doghouse? I guess
the last one I remember is it might be who was
Alex Collins. I think that's where it ended, was with Alex Collins. If you fumbled, you were not playing again, and then they had no other options. They just let Alex Collins keep fumbling and keep making crazy runs.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean that's
obviously Bryant McKinney. Who else has been? I can't even remember. I don't know. I don't even remember. That's the thing. It's so long ago. That kind of stuff doesn't happen. If you're on the Ravens, you get playing time. Pretty much.
And as much as there is complaints about them not taking chances on guys that are head cases, that probably plays into it as well. Where you have guys that are ready
they've stopped taking the players that piss him off. I feel like that also is part of it too, right?
For better and worse.
Yes, I agree with that for sure. Then trade compensation for Lamar, 5 first, whatever. Harder Swami. Jalen Phillips, Azeez Ojulari, and Joseph Asai. Which pass rusher would be best? Asai is really weird to me. Really unique prospect. Highest motor of anyone I think I've ever seen in my life in terms of hustle and rallying to the football and cleaning up plays. Unreal. Makes you love him. Not at this point. He's not a natural edge, and he was too slow kind of to play off. He played off ball until last year, I think. Then came in this past year. He's got some explosiveness. He can win the corner. He's still developing. He's still raw. I could very much see him not being a high-impact player. I could very much see him being the heart and soul of a defense. I don't know. The other thing that throws me off with him is you can't find how old he is. He was born in Nigeria. He was a junior. He, quote unquote, declines to say his age. So that's pleading the fifth, which is okay, what? You're 24 secretly? How old are you? And to me, that matters with edge rushers because they grow a ton over the first couple of years in terms of maturity and physical skill set and strength and things like that. So that one's a little bit weird. Ojulari was a tough evaluation for me. I got into him on Purple Portfolio. He's explosive. I think the Yannick Ngakoue comp stands. He's a little more sturdy against the run for sure, but not quite as developed. He has no bull rush. He has not really any inside counters right now, but man, can he really get off and, he'll make some plays in space. Not a high hustle effort player guy, but he makes sense. For me, the pick is Jalen Phillips. I have not extensively done him, but I've already done Quincy Roche and obviously saw a lot of Jalen Phillips because of that. He's the best pass rusher in this class that I've seen so far. that I've really put in tape on. Swims, bull rush, swipes, clubs, rips, can string moves together. He's explosive against the run. He has good run diagnostic ability. The concussion concern is the only thing. And it feels like, I don't know, he came back and played a full season, was healthy. So like, there's got to be a little bit of risk involved, but like, I feel like most guys that get drafted have had some concussions, and he just had a bad string of like 2 of them 2 or 3 years ago. So for me, it's Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, I have not watched the edge rushers yet, so I will defer to you there.
There we go. L at 52. Pick one player from any team to add to the Ravens. I was thinking about this for a while. I love Joey Bosa. I absolutely love Joey Bosa. Dominant. And I think that you stick him on that defense and you like don't have to think about that defense really anymore. And then you can really just focus all of your attention on getting the offense humming.
Man, that's a good one.
Aaron Donald is probably a better pick.
Yeah.
For some reason I didn't think about him, but yeah, I love Joey Bosa. Like I'm a fan of Joey Bosa, so give me Joey Bosa too.
I want to stick with the 49ers and go George Kittle. I'm just a little jaded with defense right now. I'm just like kind of in offense mode this offseason. So give me George Kittle, line him up with Mark Andrews, allow Andrews to be that like slot guy, and Kittle can kind of get and do the dirty work and just be the awesome freaking tight end that he is, space eater over the middle, perfect target for Lamar Jackson. I feel like that would be a good pick.
Justin Jefferson is another guy I thought of offensively. I wanted to give Joey Bosa just a shout out because I love him and I think he's kind of underrated for how insanely good he is.
Exceptionally underrated. Like he got a ton of shine when he was, young and a rookie, but then they had the move, and then his brother came to the league, and he just kind of feels like
I kind of did. Yeah, Nick came in and kind of like stole a little Bosa thunder a little bit. It felt like.
Yeah, now it's just like nobody talks about him, but the guy's still a beast. Like it's weird.
Absolutely one of the best, one of the very, very, very best. But Justin Jefferson gives you what, and it just really sucks because he was kind of in striking range there. But Justin Jefferson gives you the separation. He's a nasty blocker. He can generate yards after the catch, separates against man, big catch radius, trustworthy, downfield, everything you want. And he's young and he's under control in that contract. So if we're taking contracts into it, Justin Jefferson, I think would be a really sneaky good pick.
Makes sense.
Adam Jones, a 5-time Gold Glover. Only watched 4 wide receivers so far, but number one, Jamar Chase, number 2, Rashad Bateman, number 3, Devontae Smith, number 4, Waddle. Thoughts? And then he also said, Wyatt Davis is better than Vera Tucker. I like them both, though. Love the pod. Wyatt Davis, for me, his feet are a little slow, but I like him a lot. I think he gets a little bit too much burn for the slow feet. I don't think they're that slow. He did have kind of a weird year, but pedigree player. Vera Tucker, though, very fluid, very mobile, technically sound. Give me that over someone that can overextend and not be in the right spot. Sometimes in Wyatt Davis, I do like both of them as well. I haven't thoroughly watched Jamar Chase. I kind of am like avoiding it because he's kind of like a one-trick pony to me in what I've watched so far. Like he just freaking pushes into corners. Like I've never really seen anything like it. He just leans into corners against press and swats them with his hands, and he's a good athlete. He has incredible ball skills. For me, it's like he is bullying SEC corners consistently and dominantly. Those are guys who are all playing in the NFL. So for a while I was like, is he going to be able to do that against the NFL? Yes, he probably is going to be able to. I think I'm going to go with Jamar Chase number 1. I think he fits the mold of someone who catches 80 passes, 1,200 yards, works in the red zone, good after the catch, checks all the boxes. I like LSU's receiver factory overall. So I'm going to go with him 1. I'm going to go with Waddle 2. Waddle, you think of Henry Ruggs maybe not being as like great as people expected year 1. We were really big on Ruggs. I still am really big on Ruggs, but Waddle is more complete. He is faster and is just a game changer. I think there's 5-7 games a year where there's just no one who can contain him, like Tyreek Hill-ish. I think he has a little bit of Torrey Holt to his game in a way, and I think he's fantastic. Devontae Smith, I like him and Rashad Bateman. I'm like kind of weird on right now because I'm so fucking big on Rashad Bateman. I could see him being more productive than Waddle, absolutely, because he is more of a possession receiver type. But Waddle, like I said, is just a mismatch nightmare. And then Smith, yeah, I love Smith. He burns people. He separates really well. He is super light. I think Smith is great. I think I'm going to put him 4. I think he is productive. I think he does have a great NFL career, but I just feel like Rashad Bateman can go catch 80 balls next year. And I'm very bullish on Rashad Bateman, obviously.
Yeah, I'm Chase 1 all the way. I think I don't know, like maybe I've just watched a little bit more on him, but I'm totally sold. I think the guy is just I think the guy's just going to be a physical freak and do a lot of producing for whoever he winds up with. And like the thing about just like pushing guys,
drop the ball either. Doesn't drop the ball.
No, he doesn't. He like the pushing guys off thing. Like definitely, like that's a little bit sketchy. But like he's got just such like long arms that he's just probably going to be able to get away with it at the next level. And like I forgot,
I like if you push off. Like I want every receiver to push off. Like I don't care if you get offensive pass interference once every 2 or 3 games. Like I don't care about that at all.
But he does understand like how to change speed, and like when he makes a cut, he like explodes and like gets a little bit faster, which like not every like young guy understands that
really well.
Yeah, exactly. He just kind of like he's a worker as well as having like the insane skill set. So I love him. I saw the Michael Crabtree comparison get thrown out, which like people are gonna think that's an insult, but like Crabtree was a fucking beast when he was like
he was an incredible prospect coming out.
Yeah, he was. And like I could see maybe it being that, or like Anquan Bolden is the other one. That's another one that's like way overdone.
But
like,
Brown.
Yeah, I could see pretty much any 3 of those guys being a good comparison. For me, it's Waddle too as well. Kind of see him as like it's not totally the same like playing style wise, but just the way that like he produces, he reminds me of Odell Beckham a little bit. So Waddle is my number 2. He's another kind of athletic freak. Maybe going to need some things to fall right for him to produce right away, but I think he's going to be a guy who's going to step right in.
I don't think he might not be the heavy volume guy.
No, it's like every 4 weeks he's going to go for like 120 and 2, and then like he might be quiet every couple of weeks, but like I think he's going to be definitely a big play guy. I'd go Smith
straight up. There's just going to be teams that straight up don't have someone who can run with him. Like he is fast and knows how to stack and can go up and get the ball. He does get hurt a little bit. Like I saw him take a lot of shots. He's willing to lay out and like get pretty banged up. I wouldn't be shocked if he like gets hurt at times.
He had the ankle too. I mean, it's stacking.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's tough. He's definitely like weird. Like I wouldn't begrudge anyone for putting Smith over him. I'd go Smith 3. I do like Bateman. I probably do need to watch him a little bit more. I know you're very bullish, but I think Smith is like going to be similar to like maybe a juiced up Calvin Ridley, like going to be even better, where he just steps in and it's just like a pro's pro, ready to rock. Upside isn't as high as the other 2 guys, but definitely still really amazing, clean prospect. Maybe compared to Amari Cooper a little bit. Just in the way that he's able to step in and just produce from day one and just kind of do what he does. And then Bateman 4, I do like Bateman a lot. Like I said, probably do need to watch him a little bit more, but a guy who I think the Ravens should definitely have their eye on.
Bateman is the most like normal receiver of them, but
yeah, like they're also
kind of why it's hard to put him ahead of any of them.
They're also like weird. I can't like peg like a archetype for Waddle, Chase, or even Smith to an extent, but like I feel like Bateman, like you can like easily kind of say like, yeah, that guy like
Chase might be like the strongest fluid athlete I've ever seen. If he can just push around corners like that,
yeah,
like I don't know. He just kind of has like like he separates in one way, and it's with physicality.
Yeah,
and then he just unbelievable at the catch point, unbelievable. He's like what people thought N'Keal Harry was. Like he is actually dominant. He's efficient in his releases still. Like he creates good angles for himself. I was overthinking him a little bit. I kind of just like, I try to be unafraid of like listening to group thought and stuff, or like being different from group thought. But I just like listened to a lot of things people had to say about him. And then I watched him again a bit. I haven't like fully watched everything, but I've seen a ton of LSU at this point. And the dude is just smart as well. Understands coverage and where to go. But yeah, so we like all of those guys. Very, 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 very much so. Moving on. J Rose 093. Do you think the Ravens pursue Von Miller heavily? I'm going to go no. I don't think they do.
I want to say no too. He had that weird situation that's still kind of ongoing with like the text messages and stuff, which is like kind of insane. And then I just like, I don't like see the need from a player perspective. Like if you're going to do that, I'd rather just bring back Judon. So I'm good.
I just think that it's the Ravens are at a crucial point of not trying to get any more like high-priced older defensive players that aren't going to kind of you can't really count on to stick around for a couple of years. I think there's too much risk involved with injury. I think there's too much risk involved, especially with Von Miller because of injury. But putting all their chips in that when you already kind of have Marlon Humphrey and some other pieces right now, you've invested in the defense heavily. I just find it kind of tough to go pick someone who's 30 and have to pour a ton of money into them. They have some injury concerns. He has some weird situations going on, whatever, maybe that stuff is overblown or not, but I just don't think they want to go pay a top dollar for a 30-year-old defensive player.
That goes to the same people talking about like JJ Watt. Like I'm just not into it, man. Like maybe they still got some good football left in them. I think
finishing pieces, like those guys are like finishing pieces right now.
Yeah, like that's why like they should focus on going somewhere else, and like the Ravens should probably still focus more on ascending prospects to some extent. Like I think maybe at other positions you want to go get a finished guy, but like on defense and up front, like I'm just not into it.
I agree there. B-Rose 931. Which edge in this class would be the best fit for us? I'm not done with the edges quite yet. As far as mid-round guys, I absolutely love Quincy Roche. I'm not shocked if he goes in the second round at all. He went to Temple. He has the whole Temple tough thing about him. He's not a huge dude. He's like 6'3-ish, 250. Well, that's pretty big, but not huge on the edge. But he has incredible hand placement. He is super stout against the run. He isn't a great athlete, but shocks you with this weird body contortion around the edge and has outstanding hands. He can string moves together. He was really strong at the Senior Bowl. He had good year at Miami, great years at Temple. I think Quincy Roche is a stellar fit for the Baltimore defense as well. In coverage, he has that, like, he's not as great of an athlete as Tyus Bowser is, but he can really undercut out of those little bluff drops and those little spot drops. He picked off Trevor Lawrence almost. He had a horrible drop kind of, but just completely duped Trevor Lawrence and had a beautiful play where he undercut a throw. And Trevor Lawrence kind of saw him at the last second. It feels like he thought he could put more mustard on it, and Roche couldn't quite bring it down. But that play was incredibly, eye-opening for me. And then I started looking for him in spot dropping and stuff more. And I think he's a high IQ player. He's a ready-to-play player. He's a 3-down player. While he might not be, he might not be the Yannick Ngakoue explosive pass rusher, but he could certainly be a Tyus Bowser, Matt Judon, consistent good player.
Yeah, once again, have not watched those guys yet. So.
Yeah. Other edges, Azeez Ojulari, I gave him a first-round grade, and I kind of regret it a little bit. He's really young, and he's really strong. I just don't know why he has no bull rush or inside counters still. And that requires a little bit of projection and potential. And like I said, this offseason, I'm tired of potential. I want NFL ready. I want now. I want overcompensation. I want immediate production, more so for the Ravens. I'm sick of the potentials. And to me, I think Ojulari is nasty with his first step and his ability to win the corner and things like that. But it's thinking about him made me kind of think about Yannick Ngakoue, and I love Yannick Ngakoue, and I kind of read what PFF had to say about him too. He's really only a one-trick pony. I think Ojulari might be better against the run, but he's not as developed as a pass rusher at all. And just not – I would rather have someone like Jalen Phillips or, someone maybe Jason Awa, who I haven't fully watched, but that is just going to be more of a forced 3-down player and can kind of just win with athleticism. Strength and stuff a little bit more so. So some initial thoughts there. I already talked about Joseph Asai a bit. I'm getting into those more so. Cam Sample, I fucking love out of Tulane. Incredible at the Senior Bowl. Awesome year this past year. Can move around. You can stick him over a guard in the B gap or something, and he can play stand-up edge too. So I think he would be a sneaky good fit as well. But that does it for the mailbag. Thank you guys so much for another thick one. A lot of fun answering those questions.
Mega thick. Get through these YouTube comments. Cody says YTB. Not sure what is YTB. Do we know? YouTube.
My fraternity was yours in the bond, but that's not what it is.
Sick. Garnett, hello fellows, and what happened to the beard? Yeah, what's spurring this on?
It was really long, and I'm not really good at cleaning it up. Once I start to trim it, I go too far. And then I keep going. And I just started going. I haven't felt my face in a while. I kind of forgot what I looked like. I've had the beard for like 4 or 5 months at this point, which is probably the longest I've kept one for. But
it's nice to get a reset here and there.
Yeah. It was just like I was eating food and it was kind of getting kind of stinky, to be honest.
I had commented the other day that like it was getting, and the hair too, just getting absolutely just caveman-esque. I'm just a caveman.
I was going big time, but I was just like kept eating food and having it like stick into my hairs, and my hairs are getting. I haven't felt my skin in a while. I need to feel my skin.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm probably gonna hang on to this for a while, but we'll see. I do like a hard reset.
You've been keeping it pretty clean beard, like a short beard for a long time.
Yeah, I did cut it. It was getting long on me like at the end of December, I think. So I cut it down a little bit, which was nice. I like to do that every now and then. Ryan, what's up, my guys? What's up, buddy? Marcus Chestnut says, dude, Spencer, put your beard back on.
Too late. The amount of hair that was in my hand when I shaved it was just unreal. And then if that was, I needed a reset. I needed to press the hard reset.
Yeah, you have to do it every now and then. Beard boys know. Ryan also says Corey Davis to Baltimore injected into my veins. We haven't talked about this. One of those random rumor accounts tweeted out that the Ravens are expected.
Usually they never end up being right. I feel.
Yeah, it's just kind of a random thing. But then that obviously prompted you to dive into it a little bit. I saw people start to debate him as the ideal option. I would love Corey Davis coming here.
I've been watching all of his targets today. I just started going through. I'm three weeks in from this season. I just don't know what he checks every box of what they need. He's long, he's fast, he can, win down the field, he's tough over the middle of the field, great in contested catch situations, he's super reliable hands wise. Beats single coverage like a madman. We saw him freak on Marcus Peters in the regular season, like double move savant. His releases are quick and he's strong. He's decent after the catch. He's not like a dynamic after the catch guy, but good after the catch guy. I just don't know what more you want in a receiver. Like, it's a good wide receiver. He's a very good wide receiver. He's younger. He's 26. He's played in 48 of the last 51 possible games. There's this weird narrative that he has injury problems. He's played in 48 of the last 51 possible games for the Titans. So I don't know where that comes from. Love Corey Davis. I think he would be an outstanding fit.
Wookie Nookie says, whoa, Spenny all cleaned up. Locking Tony in the 4th. Says trade Orlando to the Chargers for 13 and take Waddle. Maybe. I don't think Waddle is really going to fall, but who knows? Cody says
13.
Do what?
Someone will be there at 13.
Yeah. One of the top 4 receiving options, I would say, with Pitts in the mix there too.
Yeah.
Cody says, great pick. I need to rewatch. Billy is a low-key great character. Billy fucking Walsh. Suit.
Billy.
I like your newfound pair of balls there, Suit.
Billy's series of girlfriends and stuff is also low-key epic.
Yeah, he's a sick character. And then he gets a little weird at the end, but it's fine.
Tattoo, incredible.
Yeah, he cleaned his life up. Garnett says, Braves fan here, the only Georgia team that I support. Interesting, the Braves. They're a fun squad. He says, great minds think somewhat alike, I think, in regards to the burger conversation. How do you gentlemen feel about Gabe Jackson? Gabe Jackson, there's a name.
I haven't even seen his name in free agent talk. Maybe he's supposed to be a potential cut. I'm not sure, but
I feel like he's been
some meaty boys in there. Get some meaty boys in there in the offensive line.
He says Bateman is our dream pick. He might be. Andrew Sakara says Malik Hooker. There you go. Cody McGowan says Suggs. I guess he's referring to the Mount Rushmore. Andrew also says, are you guys thinking like I am about Corey Linsley being a top target for the Ravens? I really want him to be signed. Yeah, I can see that.
There's some centers in the draft, but again, I just would rather get the veteran offensive lineman that isn't going to break the bank because it's not a tackle. He's not even a guard. Should be affordable, and then shores that up ahead of the draft. Go get another one if you want, like whatever. I think that's a good place to start.
Cassidy says, honestly, I would do 3 firsts and 2 seconds for Pitts and Devontae. Why not?
That'd be nuts.
Yeah, it would be. I don't know. I'm just not a big I just love the choice.
It would be just taking away. So you realistically are going to pick 5 guys over the first 2 rounds. Then,
I don't know, Jim.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tough. It's always like easy to say like, what does it matter? They're going to make an impact. But then like you kind of get there the next year and like all of a sudden you're Bill O'Brien and the Texans, and it's like, shit. Really shouldn't have traded those picks. But who knows? Jimmy Dean says, what resources have you guys used to increase your knowledge to be able to evaluate prospects? So you recommended the Bill Belichick Sr., I believe, book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dad.
Yeah, I've gotten deep into that a little bit. I've also read Attacking Coverages in the Passing Game by Steven Axman, I believe, who wrote that. So that's kind of helped me with the offensive side of the ball. I need to get better with defense for sure. But I don't know. Like for me, it's just like you just got to dive into it. Just start watching guys and like find what your eye likes, and also like listen to guys that know what they're talking about. I've been listening to Daniel Jeremiah for years. All sorts of guys like that out there. So find informed opinions and also form your own.
I mean, Football Scouting Methods is a great place to start. Gives you an idea for a basic premise of what guys are supposed to do and what their responsibilities are. I started learning about football playing Madden when I was little, and I obviously played when I was young as well, but playing Madden just gives you like, you should know what the basic premise of a cover 3 is if you play Madden, like things like that. Some simple things, and then just using freaking Google. Use Google. Ask questions. Watch coaching clinics. Coaching clinics are unbelievably underutilized on YouTube. Coaching, like watching Steve Sarkisian or Lincoln Riley or Rex Ryan or any of those guys. And then you start to understand, why maybe a defensive end kind of wasn't really rushing the passer on first down. And it's because they weren't asked to. They were asked to kind of hold down their gap while they could run. The other side was rushing more so. Different things. So coaching clinics for sure. Just reading, just finding anything, asking every question. Always, whenever if you look up a question and you get an answer, go find a second answer too. And if they kind of match up and it looks like it's from two reputable sources, it's probably right. But I always recommend starting with receivers and DBs and understanding coverage first and working your way from the outside in a little bit, because so much of it is in space. It's a little bit easier to see. Coverage can be basic, especially even at the college level, unless obviously not like Nick Saban or anything, but there's a lot of basic cover. If you go into Big 12, stuff's basic in coverage. You can start to recognize easy themes in coverage. Then you start to recognize wide receiver play. You can start studying releases and things like that. And then you kind of start to understand safeties a little more, and then the linebacker play trickles in. And then once you start with the linebackers, then you're down under the defensive line. You go into the defensive line, you're looking at the offensive line, and it works through that way. That's how I recommend going into the sport and really trying to dive in, is starting in coverage, working your way forward through the defense and then into the offense to try and understand. Because offense is a little bit more laid out and premeditated. Defense is a lot more reactionary stuff. Generally, in terms of where the offense gets to line up and the defense gets to react to that. So once you can understand why a defense is reacting to alignments and different things, then you're in a good spot.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of why I've started on offense, and I'm like trying to expand my repertoire a little bit. But that's just kind of, I feel like, the natural place to start. Evaluating quarterbacks is fun too. Like, have fun with it. Just have a little fun.
Quarterback play is super. There's so much that goes into it mentally that we don't know about. And guys fall off and different things. It's just quarterback play.
It's a real shame that the Gruden QB camp isn't a thing anymore, or at least I don't know if they're still doing something.
Definitely go rewatch that on YouTube. Gruden QB camp, if you want to learn more about quarterback play.
I low-key learned a little bit from that, and it was also he would have on unheralded guys that you could listen to, and it wasn't always just he would have the top prospects, but he would also have guys in the mid round, so you can get some good stuff from. So Gruden QB camp was good.
Absolutely. Scouting Methods is $6 on
Amazon. You can it's if you order a book on Amazon, it's there in 2 seconds.
Yep, Football Scouting Methods. Highly recommend.
Yeah. Jimmy Dean, will you guys join forces with other Ravens quote unquote draft analysis to provide detailed video analysis and debate over Ravens potential draft picks? Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have some people on in the coming weeks and break down some things and get it going. I'm pumping out those articles with some video as well to shed some light on prospects I like. I'm really trying to focus on guys that I do like more so than guys that I don't.
Jimmy Dean, what clubhouse room or cult does one have to join to get college all 22?
There's some avenues for sure. DM me on Twitter and I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I don't even get it. I just watch like the TV copy on YouTube. But if you like search the prospect's name and then like versus a school, you can like watch a full game of theirs. So of course it's the TV copy. It's not as good, but like you kind of gotta make do with what you got sometimes. Garnett says Tyus Bowser last year in the Cleveland game. I think he's referring to the doghouse. And then Jimmy Dean also says, I think Tim Williams was the last guy to be in the doghouse, which might be true, but Tim Williams also probably deserved it.
From everything I've heard about Tim Williams, he just was not in his playbook, had just rushed the passer and didn't really know what was going on around him.
It's too bad we don't have Kyle on here to talk about his Tim Williams, which is
the dragon, baby.
Yeah. Savage season, Savage Soldado. Jimmy Dean's last comment here is Corey Davis's impact won't be worth his price. I don't really agree with that. Like, I think if you're talking about like just stats, like if he's not a 1,000-yard receiver, he's not worth it. I don't agree with that notion. I feel like his impact would be like taking pressure off of other guys and also being a very good possession receiver.
They need someone who can line up as the ISO receiver away from the formation and win one-on-one when they're in heavy personnel. They also need someone that can be reliable on fuck it balls when Lamar doesn't have any options. That's what they need. Corey Davis. The thing that I like about Corey Davis, I find him and Rashad Bateman pretty similar. DBs have to go knock the ball out or they catch the football. And Cornell Powell too. Those are three guys that I like. They're all X size. Like Cornell Powell's about 6'1", Bateman 6'2", Davis 6'3". Guys are all over 200 pounds. The incompletions, if the ball is catchable, it is caught by Corey Davis. It is caught every single time. You have to go knock the ball out or prevent him from catching the ball, or he brings it in. He's very reliable, extremely reliable. The incompletions that he has, I'm only through 3 weeks right now. I've watched a good bit of him. I've scouted him a couple years ago. If the ball is accurate, he brings it in every single time. He's reliable. They need a reliable receiver on the outside that can separate against man coverage one-on-one. That opens this offense up, takes pressure off of other guys, takes pressure off of Mark Andrews, gives Lamar Jackson more confidence in full field reads. And I think Corey Davis does that. If you sign him for $16 million a year right now, then what is he going to be in terms of receivers overall in 3 years after these TV deals? Nothing. He's going to be the 30th receiver. Robert Woods is a $16 million receiver right now. It just matters about when you sign your new contract or your extension, and then it resets right over. I don't think Davis is going to be some debilitating contract. Sign him for, a $7 million cap hit in 2021. Gives you what you need. If Rashad Bateman falls to you, draft him fucking too. And then, oh shit, all of a sudden we have Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, Corey Davis, and Rashad Bateman, and Devin Duvernay, and J.K. Dobbins. Like, then you're in a really good spot, and you can find some other free agents and, offensive linemen, whatever as well. But I think Corey Davis would be Corey Davis or Corey Lindsley, the Coreys. That's what we're going for. Like, it's 1993.
So you want Corey in the house is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Corey Matthews. We'll throw him in there, too.
Got to rewatch that. There's another one.
Boy Meets World. Unbelievable. That was my favorite show growing up.
Shout out to Mr. Feeney. What a gem of a guy.
Feeney.
It's a good note to end on.
Good note.
Appreciate you guys tuning in and getting through all these comments. Always good to get a ton of them. Man needs to go over an hour and a half with really like no Ravens news or anything in the pipeline. So it's always good. Always fun hopping on here with you, breaking up a little bit of the sad boy season that we are currently going through a little bit. But we'll get free agency on the pipeline. We got draft stuff coming in. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks once things start to clear up here weather-wise. I feel like I need to go swing the sticks at some point soon. But we'll talk about that some other time. Or maybe we won't. What a guy. Appreciate everyone tuning in here on this Friday. Hope you guys have yourself a great weekend. We will come back to you early next week. Not sure if it's going to be a Monday or Tuesday episode, but we shall see. In the meantime, go ahead and subscribe to the show if you're not already, wherever you're getting your podcasts or on YouTube. Click that subscribe button. Follow us on social media at Podcast Beatdown is the show's account. You can follow me at Jake Luke. That is LOUQUE. Spencer is at Ravens 4 Dummies. That's the number 4 in the middle there. And follow our main account at Be More Beatdown, run by Kyle and yours truly. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Once again, have yourselves a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Fine.
Arrivederci.